Hey guys, so I just got done with a call with a client, and there's a lot of stuff that I've seen through a lot of the readings that I've been doing since my last 2020 video where I talked about like trends and things that I saw psychically happening in the next few, the rest of this year and going into the next few. But I keep getting more information and hearing and sensing more stuff that I'm sharing with my clients, but I want to share with y'all so that y'all can start to look out for this as well. One thing that I'm seeing these ideas or this concept of split gyms, where a lot of these gyms that are going to be opening up, the ones that are basically set up to have split sections or split areas, are going to be the ones that tend to do the most, are able to do the best, and they will be like sectioned off. So some of these bigger like companies or monies or organizations that have the money to like invest, they're going to basically have to revamp or completely redesign the insides of the gym, because this way it increases the likelihood of people wanting to actually go to use their facility, but it's also going to essentially keep. What will happen is some of these gyms, when they make these changes, there will be certain health protocols or certain health measures that are going to be standard, and so they will have relationships, or they'll have agreements with like the government or the cities or the territories that they can still stay open even with these kinds of situations happening to a certain extent. And so they're going to be set up in a certain way. So some of these gyms are going to basically be doing really well, and people are going to be spending the extra money on those gyms because they're going to want that sense of security, like I don't have to worry about catching something from someone else. While these other gyms that are like the big box gyms that have everything open and all the spaces are huge, they're not going to do as well, and so they're going to have to make some of those changes. So that's one thing I saw. I don't know how the split areas are going to be set up. I don't know if it's just going to be like plexiglass set up there, or there's just going to be basically partitioned off, but there's these split areas there. So that's one. It almost reminds me of like when you go to a tanning bed or tanning salon, you have the tanning bed and then they're all in their own separate rooms. It almost reminds me of that. So there's something like that's going to start to roll out, or you're going to start to see a lot happening with some of these gyms in the next year or two. And the bigger gyms that can't do it right now or don't do it right now, they're eventually going to get on board with it anyways. A second thing, or another thing that I was seeing, is that cryptocurrency was going to go up. So there was going to be either some sort of a shift or a change in the way that finances and money and investing is done, where there's more money that is going to be started. Well, there's more that's going to be invested in cryptocurrencies. And I think that's going to happen after a major country is going to invest or going to basically shore up or back up a form of cryptocurrency, because the markets and everything fluctuating the way it has, it's going to make everything super volatile in instances, and certain, even if we open up the economy tomorrow, there's still going to be such a long lasting effect for this. So to shore up a kind of global economy, to shore up economies across the board, one government or a couple of governments are going to basically unite and form some sort of coalition, or one may say they're going to do it and then they form a coalition and then they start to roll out or utilize a type of cryptocurrency, which is based on a point system, which I mentioned this, I think, in my other video. But one cryptocurrency is going to be a big opportunity for people. So just FYI with that as well. Another thing that I was also seeing is I was also seeing a huge increase in these, those, and this is more from the fitness standpoint, those like things that are now popular where it's like a glass and there's a person working out with you and everything like that. There are these personal gyms or personal trainer systems that are going to start to become a big thing, and it's almost going to be like the real estate market is. With realtors, you have a bunch of people who sign up for real estate, and they go and want to become a realtor, but they don't actually do as much, but they get their license or certification, and then they can sign up with a broker. Well, there's a lot of these, like I said, video system things where people will start to have a lot of these video systems, and essentially people are going to get their certification to be these trainers, but they will be doing it from video call or from conferencing areas as well, conferencing from a different place, so they won't actually have to go and be with that person in person. And so there's going to be a lot of those we start to see as well, and that's going to be kind of a flood of people going into that industry trying to become a certified coach or certified trainer, but they're going to be using this system, and they have to be licensed with the system, and they have to pay into the system, but they also get a lot of clients from the system as well. So there's something like that as well. Even though like the Peloton mindset, people thought this is a fad, it's actually going to start to become a standard for a lot of people as far as the health and wellness industry as well. So there's definitely some changes that are going on there also. But those are a few of the things I was also seeing Also, I know that people think this is going to be extreme, but a lot of products that we're used to buying at the store, a lot of products that we're used to getting or having easy access to, it's probably going to be a big change there as well, because going forward, there is going to be a change with the grocery system, because it isn't going to be a sustainable system unless there are major overhauls and changes made. So it's going to be kind of like a Amazon system setup. But right now, you can go to the grocery store, you can pick out what you want, and then you check out and then you're done. That's probably been the most inefficient way for grocery shopping to be done. A lot of these companies, and like for example, you've got Instacart, etc., they're going to start to in some cases actually help the grocery stores, or possibly offer to work out some sort of agreement where the grocery store, instead of it being just an open place where people go shopping for their foods, they're going to only hold or have the most highest grossing items. So the things that sell the most, that's what will be available. And because that's what will be available, there are people there who are basically going to be just, all they do is just grab the stuff and prepare it. And then you've got people coming and taking it away, coming and taking it away. Even when this starts to settle down or simmer down and people start going back to the grocery stores again, the companies are going to realize that this was a really great model for starting to initiate an automated grocery shopping experience. So essentially, you're going to go grocery shopping, you're going to type it in. It's what Walmart and what these grocery stores are already doing when you can kind of drive up and park and then they bring your groceries out to you. It's very similar, but they're going to kind of go in a much stronger pace with this. And some grocery stores are not even going to be, you're not going to be able to go into the store itself. It's basically going to be a warehouse. It's basically set up so that people get your groceries set up and it's the best quality or the highest quality or whatever. And then you're basically given, you're given your groceries, you just pick it up, but there'll be, those systems as well. So there's a lot of these fundamental changes. So the things that don't sell very well, that sit there on the grocery shelves forever, they're just not going to be purchased by some of these grocery chains. And what these grocery chains are going to realize is that they're going to start to make a lot more money from this process, but they're also going to reduce the amount of products that they purchase. So some of the products that normally you might be able to get a hold of are no longer going to be bought in mass. And so they're going to start to go out of business, some of these companies, because they're just not able to keep up with getting that product sold, etc. So that's a big change that's going to happen there as well. This might take years. This is not going to be an overnight process, but this might take years. And because of this, the idea of like a grocery, like someone who is a cashier, that's no longer going to be the model or the method for buying groceries, because it'll all be automated. And so these people will actually just be warehouse workers instead of like being at the register charging things up, which is, again, another reason why cryptocurrency or online forms of currency are going to start to kick into gear. And you got companies like Apple who are going to line up with some of these big governments that are going to start offering or going through a cryptocurrency model. So there's a lot of those that are coming this way as well. So I just wanted to share some of that with you guys, and that way y'all would have an idea and understand. Oh, there's also the health insurance. I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, but there's going to be, I feel like, towards the end of this year, the insurance companies are no longer going to be able to be sustainable, because a lot of people, because they are not working, they're not paying their premiums anymore. And because a lot of companies that can't afford their workers are no longer going to be paying those premiums either, you've got a bunch of insurance companies that are basically going to start to go under, or no longer going to be able to sustain themselves, because they're basically paying out more in claims than they're bringing in through revenue or through, the big companies. And so at some point, the government, either the local or the federal, is going to step in to bail out or shore up that the medical insurance system. And when they try to go in to bail out, of course, this is going to create a huge uproar, because this is basically them, giving away money to these medical communities and medical insurance companies, but yet people aren't getting enough. So what they're going to do to try to make it more acceptable is they're going to basically implement something that looks like a Medicare for all system, but they're not going to call it that. They're going to call it like essential health plan or something like that, where essentially your tax dollars are going to pay for the medical insurance companies to make sure that they don't go under, or some of them don't go under, and then they have to offer a base level insurance plan for people who need medical care, basic medical care, including like any of the after effects or aftermath of the coronavirus and all of that. So there's essentially going to be a basic insurance plan that is implemented before the year is up, in my opinion, or at least it'll be, pretty there on the books. And then that's going to be the beginning stages of what we consider to be universal healthcare. There will still be different tiers though. Like if you're a person that only makes so much money, or you only pay in so much from your taxes or whatever, you only qualify for a certain tier. Then there's a second tier, there's a third tier. And then of course, some of these private companies may also offer their own personal health insurance options, but majority of Americans are going to give up intentionally, like give up some of their more expensive plans because they're going to go off of this base level. So there's going to be kind of a standardization of those insurance premiums and policies across the board. So that's interesting. I personally, I'm not believing that that's going to happen, because I feel like we're so stuck in the way we used to do business. And when this starts to simmer and people start trying to go back to normal, there's just no way we're going to be able to go back to normal. So they're going to end up having to find different ways of implementing a stable, or trying to shore up the system in some way. So that's going to be kind of a crazy thing if it happens. I don't know if it will or not. I'm still like, I don't know, Fernie. Like, I know you're seeing that, but I don't know if that's going to be the reality as well. So, but all right, guys, I love you all, and I hope you can get something from this video. But this is some other stuff that I've been seeing as well, and I'll keep sharing more as I see it. But I love you all, and I see you next time. Okay, bye bye.